Welcome to the Full Tactical Range by Range Systems. I'm Bo Dobozinski, lead instructor for defensive mindset training. Emergency reloads are a common skill development in concealed carry, but there's a lot of different variations about how this works, and you can see that the ability for people to do emergency reloads in Time Hack really can vary wildly among different styles. And at DMT, we're really focused on two elements. One, there's a lot of speed and efficiency, but two, everything must be defendable the whole way through. And so for this week's video, I want to show you 3 things that you can do right now that will make your emergency reloads more effective and more defendable. Thing number 1, have a place where that magazine is always in and that you can get to it consistently every single time. I've seen second magazines carried on people all kinds of places, inside waistbands, shoved into pockets, in the back pockets, all over the place. And the consistent problem with this is that there's no consistent place for your hand to reach in to grab that magazine. One of the tools that I found that actually does a really great job for concealed carry work is this one called a snag mag. This snag mag allows you to very simply put your magazine inside this piece of plastic. It's got this nice hook on the far side which will grab onto the pouch of the edge of the pocket. And now as I go into reach, I can get that magazine from a consistent place every single time. And the magazine's always oriented the same way, which speeds up my ability to insert it into the well of the firearm. You'll notice for competitive shooters on their belt kits, those magazines are set up in a consistent way all the way across. And they're there that way so that as the competitor is going through, it's very easy to just hit those same areas every single time and get the magazines to come out very quickly. Our goal should be something similar, but instead for the wide open, hey, my magazines are hanging out everywhere competitor, we have it concealed inside of a pocket using this tool, the snag mag, to keep that magazine in place. Tip number 2, watch out for how far in your hands come during the emergency reload. Really common practice inside of the competitive as well as in the defensive world is the idea of working in what's called the workspace. The workspace is this spot way in here where I bring all of my stuff just right up inside of my grill to be able to see those materials as I'm going along. Now, the great benefit to it is everything's kind of close in and compact and you have sort of smaller distances to move, but there's a negative point. What you'll end up seeing a lot of people as they work into workspaces, they'll actually bring it down here about chest level and then watch them as their eyes will actually follow down to where the firearm is. Now, in a defensive encounter, I've got bad guy right out there. I need to keep engaged with where he is and what he's doing, not down here looking at my handgun. So instead of doing that, I want to have my arms up inside my sight line and at a ballpark outside 45-degree angle. So 180, 45 inside, outside 45 degrees. That outside 45 degrees is very akin to the position that you would take if you were doing like a Muay Thai position for boxing and fighting, which means we're in the exact same position to be able to start engaging in striking should we need to. But then 2, our arms don't move as far. So now instead of dropping that magazine and having my arms collapse way in and way out, I can leave in essence the firearm in place. And that allows me to have less movement of the firearm, thus less time wasted between getting that slide lock to the rear and my next shot downrange. Item number 3, work that as soon as you get that slide to drop, that you actually have sight alignment on the target right away. By having faster sight alignment on the target means we get to start to shoot. The way that we do it at DMT is we use the non-firing thumb to drop the slide via that slide stop. And there's 2 reasons for it. Number 1, I know that I get the magazine all the way in before I'm reaching for the slide stop, which means there's never a chance that I go slide first and then the magazine goes in and now I get click and I need it actually bang, which would be bad. Number 2, we're also sort of the contravening position of doing what's called the overhand release, the slide release. And so they'll insert the magazine, the hand will come over the top like this and they'll send the slide forward that way. But you'll notice there's a distinct problem here. Which way is my hand going? Which way is the gun going? So I'd have to go and drop that slide and then return to the firearm as quickly as I can. Well, that again, we lose time. And when you're talking about having to engage in emergency reload, whether it's competitive purposes or somebody's trying to kill you, I need to get that firearm back up and running as quickly as possible. So by coming through and going this way, I actually lose a lot of distance in the travel to get the handgun back. You'll see some instructors actually teach the insert, they'll drop the slide and they'll break the first shot single-handed, and then they'll re-grip it with the second one to keep going from there because they know that they're losing the time. By using that non-firing thumb, as soon as I have insertion of the magazine, I can rotate the slide to look right down the sights, use the thumb to drop it, and I'm back up in alignment, ready to go to start engaging my target downrange. To help you practice these three things, we have a drill that we call the 1 in 9 drill. The general setup is I have one magazine of 1 round that'll go inside of my firearm, and I have one magazine of 9 rounds that'll go into my pouch in my pocket. I'll have my target, the silhouette target, set up downrange anywhere from 15 to 30 feet, depending upon how much standard of accuracy you want to work with or how much speed you want to drive. And your goal is to draw, engage the target 1 shot, do an emergency reload, and do 1 more shot. Then you'll reset, assess, and 360 check. Now here's the other kicker. We have to now swap over the magazines. So once we've done our 360 check and tactical follow through, I'm gonna go secure the magazine that's been on the ground, and now I will engage in a tactical magazine change so that I have, again, 1 round inside of the handgun, the remaining rounds left inside of the one in my pouch or in my pocket. This way, every single shot, you get a slide lock to the rear, and you can work on that skill individually rather than having a bunch of magazines that you have to go all the way to the end to be able to get an emergency reload. So here's how it goes. With a few simple steps, you can adjust how your reload occurs so that you can increase your effectiveness and defendability of your reload. Remember that we as defenders have to think of our tools not simply as shooting tools, but as defensive tools. If for some reason I can't use this to shoot anymore, it's still a 1-pound piece of steel that if I have to hit you with it, it's going to do a lot of damage. So keep thinking about your system or your setup in a holistic manner. Don't be isolated into one little box. You've got lots of tools at your disposal, and everything can serve more than one purpose in a pinch. For Defensive Mindset Training, I'm Bo Dobuzinski. Thanks for watching.